for the final leg of our 2026 1UP Superstar Series International Tour of Races. We head to one of the most populous, one of the biggest growing cities you can find anywhere in the world, in the United Arab Emirates, the city of Dubai, where we take to these streets for 27 laps around a very high speed, very draft-dependent layout that will see these superstar drivers fight for all it's worth to keep their tires intact, stay on the racing surface, and score a big victory that will surely pay dividends for them in their chase for a Superstar Series championship. And alongside me in the booth for the 202nd race of this great series' history, we've got Jesse Turner with us in the booth for today's race. It is great to have you with us. These streets of Dubai, we've got buildings all around. It's a bit hard to see sometimes the action, but there's a lot of action to be talking about on these streets because these guys, this is, I believe, their third attempt at this race, and these guys know these streets pretty well, but at the same time, trouble lurks around every corner here, and I would not be surprised if it strikes at least one of our superstars here today.
Oh, indeed, and it's great for me to be out here to Dubai for the very first time, and I've had a thrill with each stop that we've gone to on this international tour. Kharjala, Finland was great. Silverstone was great over in the UK. Now I get to check out Dubai here in the UAE and see what this is all about, but I know it can be a treacherous track at times, and trouble and carnage can await. There's several blind spots that drivers will negotiate around, but it's a very fast track, and I'll look forward to seeing what these guys do out here.
And this track is very unlike what we've seen at Kharjala and Silverstone. Both of those places you had lots of grassy runoff to take to if you got a corner wrong. Here, there is no such thing. Walls everywhere you look, tarmac, asphalt runoff everywhere you go, and this surface chews away at the tires very quickly, so it'll be up to each individual team, each individual crew chief to determine whether a one-stop strategy or a two-stop strategy will be the way to go at the end of 27 laps here at Dubai. But with that being said, we can now officially bring you the starting lineup for today's 27 laps of action at Dubai, and for the second week in a row, it is a Fitzwater Australia Dodge on pole position. This time, however, it is the first ever pole position in the Superstar Series for Brian Grigsby. He has been on such an incredible run of form, cooled off slightly at Silverstone with a bit of a mid-pack run there, but he is still on a meteoric rise. He entered the last few races 37th in the points. He's already shot up to 22nd. This is going to be a big opportunity for him to get that first win, and I'm very excited to see how he can perform over these 27 laps.
Oh, indeed. It's great for Grigsby to be on the run that he is, still trying to break through and get that very first dub, but I see the All-Star race winner, Ben McDonald. He'll be hot for this race, as you got the top guys in the points as well. Miles Mashburn, Devin Fair, Cale Tuscar Jr., they're all starting in the top 10. And so I'll look for them to be strong as well, but we'll see what Grigsby and McDonald do as they lead the field of green.
One more thing to keep an eye on, the battle for the chase cut line. It's 1 point going into this race between Jensen Nomina in 15th in the points. He starts 11th, and perhaps the other driver on a monumental run of form lately, Cameron Brennan, in the 90. He's coming off 3 consecutive top 10 finishes. He lines up in 7th position. This is going to be a big opportunity for him as well, no matter how this shakes out. But with that being said, we've got 4201-Up's finest ready to take on the streets of Dubai, and we are ready to bring you that action now. Race number 12 of the season for the 1UP Superstar Series. It's coming at you live next. Stay tuned. You don't want to miss a second of what's about to come. We're set for a good day here at Dubai. It is Grigsby and McDonald on row 1. The green flag is out. We're racing on the streets of Dubai, and look at row number 4. Cameron Brennan's wasting absolutely no time trying to get himself to the front as the field barrels off into these two 90-degree left-handers. Turns 1 and 2. Brennan has already gotten a huge jump. He's gotten past Tescar already, and he's working over Henry Thomas to try and assert himself into the top 5 right away. But up at the front, it is Brian Grigsby who has cleared himself from Ben McDonald. Emma Kruger sizing up Miles Mashburn as well as the field starts to break hard for the hairpin of turn 6.
Well, we're already on 6 and 7. It goes to show you how quickly these drivers get around this track, but we still have a couple fast sweepers coming up. There's Lane Sanders way down on the inside, just getting in front of Jake McMillan. Good pass by that 87 Ford, getting ahead. But thankfully, it doesn't seem like everyone's getting too crazy. They're trying to sort themselves out. They go into the turn 10 area, I want to say this is. So we're following Cameron Brennan, who's made a great gain on the start, getting ahead of Cale Teskar Jr. already up into the 6th position.
And it looks as though everybody else from that position on back has made it through the opening lap pretty cleanly, making our way through the turn 13 and 14 sequence right now. And as Mashburn tries to clear Emma Kruger once again, he's not done yet. As Grigsby leads the opening lap, Mashburn's going to try diving one down the inside of Ben McDonald. He's no stranger to success on these international road courses as we brake hard for turn 2. He's going to have a nose out on the 12, but this is going to be very interesting to watch because these two are going to go side by side into this long, sweeping right-hand corner of 6 and 7, but as the longer they continue to fight, the longer they're going to allow Brian Grigsby to just streak out ahead of all of them.
And it will be important for the 12 and the 72 to work out their differences and figure out who is going to lead, who's going to follow, because that's exactly what Brian Grigsby wants to have. His teammate Zachary Fitzwater, who won the pole at Silverstone, he wasn't as fortunate to stay in the lead after the cycle of pit stops when Eric DeMax got ahead of him, and Fitzwater pretty much had no chance from there on. But as long as these guys keep battling it out, this could give Grigsby more breathing room, as he also got Emma Kruger in the fight, along with Henry Thomas, Cameron Brennan, and Cale Teskar Jr., but he wants these guys to keep on battling it out.
I think, though, the battle has started to cool down a bit. Mashburn has cleared McDonald for second place, but look at Henry Thomas, McDonald's teammate. He's already diving down the inside of Emma Kruger, and he's not waiting all around. He's trying to get underneath his own teammate for the 3rd position. It's been a long time for Henry Thomas since he's been in the victory lane, and this is going to be a really good opportunity. He looks like he has a really fast car, although he's going to have to negotiate this 2nd gear hairpin at turns 1 and 2 to try and navigate his way around this 70. And so far, looks to be doing a pretty good job nosing out ahead as we go through the sweepers of 3, 4, and 5.
And great for Thomas to pick up that gain right there. We see Mashburn, now that he is in 2nd place, just under a full second behind that 9 car. But now that he doesn't have that 12 to worry about, at least for now he can focus ahead out the windshield and get where he wants to be. But the top 8 or 9 are side by side. We got this battle to get into a top 10. Nick Ortiz in the 91, who had flashes of promise at Silverstone and Karjala. He's up here trying to contest for a top 10 between the Revolution Toyotas of Vargas and Davidson. And there is Jensen Nomina fighting for that chase spot, like you mentioned, pre-race in that 62. Trying to get ahead of the 4 of Zayden Davidson. Looks like he may get that done there to get up into the 11th position. But you also got Zachary DeLello and Lane Sanders and Patrick Smith also wanting to get a top 10 from those guys.
And I must say, this is a much improved performance, at least so far, from Revolution Racing as a whole. We talked about it back at Silverstone. Vargas and Davidson in particular were having a bit of a struggle in the 20s in the running order, but right now they're knocking on the door of a top 10. Vargas is there, Davidson wants to be, and they're having a much better day here at Dubai than they had at either of the previous 2 rounds. Good to see from both of them. But up at the front, it continues to be Brian Grigsby out in control of this race by about 3/4 of a second. Mashburn, though, he's starting to close in a little bit. It was almost a full second, and he's cut it down by about 1/4.
72 making some good gains, as you see. I mean, he's not chipping away a huge portion of the lead right away, but as long as he makes those little gains, he should get where he wants to be in due time and challenge that 9 car for the lead. He'll have to obviously figure out a place to pass him once he does get to that point. We were just looking at the rookie Cameron Brennan, the Talladega winner. It's good that he's having a good performance on the road course. Now we got a contest for position right outside the top 10 with Sanders, DeLello, McMillan, and also Ryan Caggiano, another one of the Fitzwater Australia cars in that number 5 machine. Caggiano has also joined this little group. You also see Sam Donota, who came 2nd at Talladega, right behind those guys. But now it's a 4-way fight for a top 15 position coming to the line to end lap 5.
Yeah, these guys are giving it everything they've got here. As look at that, Stephen Hunter and James Ellison, the Stormbreak cars, making gains early on in this race, as is Cameron Brennan, who in the last lap has picked off 2 cars to move up into 4th position. He's gotten Emma Kruger, and he's now gotten past Henry Thomas as well. That 90 car is on a mission, as is the 72 of Miles Mashburn, who took 4/10 out of Brian Grigsby's lead on the previous lap. He is chewing away at that gap in huge chunks every lap. I would expect this to be a big battle for the lead within the next few laps.
And you got these closing right in on him. He already shaved a good few tenths off. So yeah, Mashburn has the better car out of the 2 from what it appears, and it's a mirror of Silverstone. We saw how Zachary Fitzwater had the lead for a good while over guys like Eric DeMax and them, but eventually after pit stops, he just didn't have the strength to keep it up. Hopefully Grigsby can find something in the tank to keep that 72 behind him. It's going to be a tough task, though, obviously, but if Mashburn doesn't get there, I'd say that 90 of Cameron Brennan, he might have just as much of a chance to get that 9 car, too.
And this shouldn't come as a surprise to anyone who knows this series. Cameron Brennan is a legend of the road courses already, and at least that's what Lane Sanders, his team owner, has been preaching from the very beginning, as he dives down the inside of Ben McDonald, looking for the lead of this race as he sends it off into turn 2. Going to get a nose out on the 12 as these two remain side by side. These lap times have been going up really quickly. We started this race in the 123s. We're already starting to get into the 125s. So the tires take a pounding here at Dubai. Bit to be expected. High temperatures, high abrasion, stuff like that. It really takes a toll. So whoever can hang it out and make it a one-stop strategy, they're going to be your odds-on favorites to win this race, unless the fall-off is even greater than we thought, and a 2-stop could still make its way into play later on.
Of course, and of course all those teams have that in mind, just the tire fall off and how long they can last. I mean, it's not necessarily a matter of how long they can go on fuel, but just on tires. It'll be interesting to see which teams deploy a 2-stop strategy, or if these guys can say, you know what, if we can conserve our tires enough and just make 1 stop, we'll try that strategy. So as the laps go on, that is something that we can look for.
And of course, these guys, based on data from years past, they know they can make it on 1 stop going off of fuel alone. But who's going to take a gamble? Who is going to take an early pit stop, get on some fresh tires, try to make some headway? We've seen that happen before with mixed results. To see who can pull it off here this year. As Devin Fair, in this 21, he's taken a bit of a tumble. He's lost spots to both Vargas and Ortiz. Now he's under fire from Jensen Nomina, Lane Sanders, and Zayden Davidson. They're all queuing up behind him. He, of course, finished out of the top 10 for the first time all season at Silverstone, mostly down to pit strategy. But this is the first time I've seen all season long, really, that this 21 is struggling to find pace in the top 10 compared to those around him.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And for Devin Fair, I mean, he kept his top 10 streak up to 10 races, but the last race out at Silverstone, he just wasn't able to get it done. A lot of varying strategies throughout the field, and he came home 14th then. But still, for that to be his lowest finish of the season, that's still nothing to complain about, at least in my opinion. But now we go back further in the field. We got Sam Donato on Jake McMillan, side-by-side for those positions right there. Ryan Caggiano's gotten past both of them. I also see Stephen Hunter in the screen right there. That's 2 of the Stormbreak cars, actually. Stephen Hunter, James Ellison. I also see Joshua Michaels, who had a top 5 car at Silverstone as well. You see these guys all battling in the middle of the field, so the fighting for position definitely is not slowed down in other positions.
And a bit of a rough day for Fingai Saitomi Motorsports. All of their cars outside of the top 20 as they run right now. Really bizarre, especially considering we saw Fingai in particular win at Karjala. You see Ryan Griffin back here battling Logan Williams and Logan Jones. Aaron Hall for Fair & Co. once again rounding out. And how about this? First time in Stormbreak Motorsports history, they've had 4 cars in a Superstar race at the same time. And it's their Truck Series regular, Alex Sanvital, who makes his Superstar Series debut today. He started this race down in 35th position. He's fallen a little bit down in the opening few laps. He's down to about 39th now, but keeping that car out of the walls and bringing it home in one piece, that's the goal for that 2 team, and I think he's doing a fantastic job, actually outrunning several veterans ahead of him.
Yeah, nice to see Stormbreak expand their operations and get a 4th team on the grid. I mean, especially overseas. I mean, like this, it's great that the Stormbreak team was able to pull that off. But we'll cut away from Stormbreak a little bit. The 90 of Brennan trying to challenge Miles Mashburn for P2. Again, Brennan, I mean, this kind of stuff is in his wheelhouse. He knows what to do for tire conservation, fuel conservation, and he just knows where to attack. And despite him being a rookie, he's very, very skilled in this type of racing, but he's not going to get it right there. Ortiz and Nomina battling for the top 10 and 3 wide right here. Devin Fair, Lane Sanders, and Zayden Davidson, the 87 and the 21, continue to go at it.
This is for 11th. Nomina got past all of them and is now battling Nick Ortiz for the 9th spot. But yeah, Devin Fair, he might have hit a cliff's edge on his tires. He's already fallen back to about 12th now after starting this race in 8th. So tough early goings for Devin Fair in this race. Hopefully he can hang on for a decent day, but I'm not calling anything until the checkered flag flies, of course. Got Zachary DeLello in the top 15. This is a battle between McMillan and Cambiano. Stormbreak as a whole, though, back to what we were talking about then. They're having a solid day. James Ellison, I believe, is actually our biggest mover of the race so far. From 29th starting spot, he's already gone up to the top 10. Or top 20, I should say, between the start of the race and now. But he's still doing a really good job, and he needs that because he just got into the top 30 in owners points after Silverstone, and he wants to stay there.
Oh, that's right. I mean, even though he's not a part of the chase conversation, obviously, staying ahead of the top 30 is an important thing to do as well, because that guarantees the locked-in status that you have for these races, and that'll be a good goal for Ellison to get. And then, if he keeps on building it, he might be in a chase contention. He'll have to get a strong run at it, though. But we're watching Emma Kruger try and take over P5 from Henry Thomas. She's not able to do it right there. As, you see the top 10 all spread out. Well, I take that back. The 91 of Ortiz and the 62 of Noman are side-by-side. That is the only side-by-side battle that we see up here in the top 15 for now.
And this is a much-needed run for Nick Ortiz. All of these runs are for him. I said it at Silverstone. He probably is aware that he's in the twilight of his career. He's been here for a long time. 3 wins under his belt, nothing to be ashamed of. But he's demonstrating with these runs here that he is more than capable still of running with the best of these guys on his day. And I hope he's able to get another win before he signs off, whenever that may be. But good run for him. He needs one like that. As we go a little further back, we've got this battle going on. Stephen Hunter sending one up the inside of Sam Donato. That is a fight just outside the top 15.
That's nice for Hunter and Donato to be where they are right now. You got, obviously, the team boss for Stormbreak, James Ellison, looking on. It's good for everyone to stay clean. I know Silverstone, we had a few run-ins both at the beginning and the very end of the race, too, after the checkered flag, with Jake McMillan, I believe, having that hard crash after that race. But at least this is a great turning of a leaf between Silverstone and here at Dubai. Just everyone racing with a lot of respect, which is great.
Yeah, these guys don't want to junk another race car. That is for sure. Hunter especially, because he's trying to join his 2 teammates in the top 30 in owners points. He's the only full-time Stormbreak car not there yet. They all started the season outside the top 30. Bobo Jones and Ellison have worked their way up. But Stephen Hunter's not that far away either, and I'm very curious to see if he can get there at the end of this race. But we're closing in on the end of lap 11, making our way towards turn 10 now, with Grigsby having never left the lead of this race since the start. Mashburn under immense fire right here from Cameron Brennan. Ooh, Mashburn got a little bit up, trigger happy on the throttle, got a little sideways, and Brennan's making his way past, as it looks as though Grigsby and Mashburn, they're committing to pit road already. This feels a little early. These guys have got to be committing themselves here to a 2-stop strategy.
And now the first dominoes have fallen for pit stops. Cameron Brennan's going to stay and take the lead. You also see teammates McDonald and Thomas stay out. Emma Kruger stayed out. But I only see the 9 and the 72 on the pit lane. We'll need to see if anyone else is going to.
They're the only ones I can see.
Yeah, going to make that gamble with them. And now it's, they'll definitely have to make at least one more trip down pit road if they are going to go with 2. We'll have to see how well it pays off for them, and we'll have to see how much longer everyone else will go.
And importantly here, this is going to be an important outlap for these guys because fresh tires are everything here. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. But because fresh tires here make a difference of about 3 to 4 seconds a lap. So if these guys are smart about it, which I expect them to be, they're going to probably get a huge lead. Ooh, and we got a little problem here with Julio Cesar. He must have had an issue on track. I see him stalled it out on pit road. Tough break for the Spa team. They've got one car leading the race, but another car we're hearing with a flat tire that brought him to a standstill. He is now losing valuable time on pit road.
That's a shame for that 00 team, but nonetheless, I mean, at least Spa can at least be happy that one of their cars is in the lead right now. But we'll need to see how much the 9 and the 72 will gain with those fresh tires on the track with their outlap. But at the end of lap 12, no takers again. So now I see the bed that everyone else is making. Oh, here comes one to pits.
2 more, actually. Aaron Hall and Austin Liang. They were at the tail end of the field. They're taking a gamble to try and get some track position. Because they were running outside the top 25. They figured we're not going to get a good finish by doing what everyone else does. Let's try this and see if we can't jump 5-10 people in the pit lane doing this. But here is Grigsby and Mashburn coming across the line. They are going to be cycled out to about 38th and 39th. However, they've got the fresh tires on their car, and they're already running sector times that are seconds faster than the likes of Brennan, Thomas, and McDonald. So those guys are going to have a really big lead. The question is, will they be able to hold it the entire rest of the way?
Yep, that'll be a mystery as we now approach the halfway point. Once lap 13's over, we'll get to the second half, but there goes Liane and Hall off pit road. And this is just going to be a cycle that we're going to have to see lap after lap who's going to blink next.
It looks like Brennan's on his way in. He's blinking. Looks like everybody's actually blinking now because Brennan's leading a massive train of cars on the pit road. This is the money lap right here for everybody else that didn't want to take a chance on strategy. This is going to be a touch and go, though, for them to make it to the end of the race. It's going to be tricky. Oh, boy, we got one guy taking a bit of a gamble, and it's our series debutant, Alex Sanfatale, in the 2-car for Stormbreak. He's going to run it out even longer. And the good news for Sanfatale, if he can make it back around the pit this next lap, he is definitely going to be able to make it to the end of the race from here.
Interesting play by that number 2 Stormbreak team of Sanfatale. But now we got McDonald and Kruger and everyone else getting the tires and fuel they need to make it the rest of the way. There goes Cameron Brennan. He's pulling away. Same with Henry Thomas. And everyone else is going to play monkey see, monkey do. But there goes the 9 and the 72. They are well ahead of those guys because of those fresh tires. That definitely is a big payoff.
Yeah, they're going to have a lead of about 7, 8, not maybe even 9 seconds as a bit of a log jam coming out of the pits. It's a very tight pit exit here to account for the shape of turns 1 and 2. Look at Aaron Haldo on the racetrack. He's going to get the jump, as is Austin Liang. We've got a few cars with contact back here. Jensen Nomina in particular had a bit of a slow stop. He's going to cycle out outside the top 20. But Cale Tescar Jr. also had a bit of a slow one. He is down outside the top 10 now. But here is the one car. Well, there is the one car. Alex Sanfatale. It's actually the 2-car, but he's the one car on track that has not made a pit stop yet. As Mashburn dives down the inside of Grigsby, that's going to be for the net lead of the race, because Sanfatale is coming in this lap. We know that 2-car is going to make it to the end of the race. Everyone else is a big question mark as Mashburn forces Grigsby to take the long way round. This is for the net lead of the race right here.
Yes, it's going to be once that 2-car of Sanfatale is down pit road. Mashburn will officially become the new leader. Grigsby's not going to give up, though. I mean, he knows if he can get ahead of Mashburn just like he did at the start of the race, he could be in real good shape. They still go side by side. It's a matter of who's going to give, who's going to take. Mashburn is the one that looks like he's going to take.
And honestly, that's probably for the best for Grigsby to just live to fight this battle another day, because he knows Mashburn probably has a faster car at the moment, and he's got plenty of opportunities left. We still have 13 laps to go in this race. It's just a matter of picking the right moment. Perhaps at the end of the back straightaway is going to be an opportunity for him as we look further back. Look at Aaron Hall in that 19. He made out like a bandit, as did Austin Liang. They're going to cycle out to the top 20 after running outside the top 30 all day up to this point. There's Nomina. He had a slow stop, and he's going to pay the price for that. Michaels had a bit of a slow stop, as did Denoto. Jeffrey Finguy's outside the top 30, not where we expect him to be. And there is Alex Sanfratello, the only car in this race that we know can make it to the end with the fuel and tires that he has. Everybody else is a big question mark, as we see Julio Cesar get back on track. He will be 2 laps down to the leaders once he gets back out there. However, Grigsby right on the back of Mashburn for the lead. This fight is not by any means over.
And now I'll have to check the margin between second place Grigsby and third place Cameron Brennan. As we'll take a look at the rest of the field. It should update where the 2 car of Sanfratello is further back, and right there it does update. And I know Sanfratello was running at least around 35th place by the time the pit cycle began. I imagine that may be where he branched out to.
Yep,
and
there he goes. He's starting to fall back now.
Right down in the 20s right there. But yeah, these guys are multitude of seconds ahead of everyone else, and yeah, around 35th place is where I predict that 2 cars going to settle out.
Meanwhile, up at the front, Mashburn is starting to pull away from Brian Grigsby. That 9 car's hopes of getting the lead back may have come and gone, because we're coming up on 11 laps to go now, and that car is just pulling a huge gap. It's 9 seconds between them and third place Cameron Brennan. It's going to be interesting, because I highly doubt that Mashburn and Grigsby, I highly doubt they're going to be able to make it to the checkered on the fuel and tires that they have. They're probably going to need to make a second pit stop. The question is, when do they do that, and will they leave themselves enough time to try and fight their way back through the field?
Well, I am seeing some new numbers inside the top 10, which is cool to see, especially guys for like Christian Vargas, Lane Sanders, Zachary DeLello as well. Nice job by that number 08 team to get DeLello inside the top 10. But Emma Kruger is also maintaining a top 10 position. Same thing with Nick Ortiz. So it's great for them to maintain where they were before. And as long as you get a net gain or just a net, neutral for where you were and how you are now before the pit stops and after the pit stops, then that's pretty good, as long as you didn't get a net loss like Jensen Nomina did.
And meanwhile, this is the battle for third place. It could very well turn into a battle for the lead once we expect Mashburn and Grigsby to make their final pit stops. Cameron Brennan's got a pretty sizable lead over the 2 Fenton Motorsport teammates of Henry Thomas and Ben McDonald. So, curious to see how that's going to play out. Brennan, of course, looking for his 2nd win of the season. He's on pace right now to get a very good lead in the Rookie of the Year standings over the likes of Nomina and Grigsby. But this is going to be very interesting, because all 3 of those guys are very stout competitors. Grigsby, Nomina, and Brennan. It's going to come down to the wire between those 3, I think, for top rookie honors. But up at the front, they've got a sizable lead, and Grigsby actually did take about a 10th out of it on that last lap, which is nice to see. He's still got a little fight left in that 9 car. And across the line, Brennan and co. have gained a few more tenths on the leaders, so perhaps those tires starting to kick in for the likes of the 90 and the 16.
Yep, and if they time it out right, where they got to stretch their fuel enough, they also got to be mindful of that as well. I mean, the 72 and the 9, we know they can't make it, but it'll be a matter of how well Cameron Brennan and everyone else on back can manage theirs. In reference to Alex Sanfratello, I wonder how well the 72 and the 9 will come out in a pit road in reference to where the 2 car is. They may have enough of a gap to stay ahead of them. So just still a lot of factors at play, as we are now officially at 10 laps to go.
And even if they get out behind the 2, I think when they get those fresh tires on, I think they're going to be plenty good to pass him on the racetrack for that position when they need to, when that time comes. Meanwhile, though, Brennan and Thomas are starting to get closer to each other. This is going to be a battle worth keeping an eye on, because if things play out the way we expect them to, that could very well be a battle for the lead before too long. Thomas gaining heaps of time on Cameron Brennan through the final hairpin of the lap, and that is going to put him right on the back of the City Financial Dodge as we take now to start of lap 19.
And even though the lap we're at less than 10 to go, it's still a lot can happen around a massive road course just like Dubai. And I'm sure the fans, I mean, at least they're able to watch from their buildings and watch everything that's going on. It's the one time out of the year we do come here internationally, so they're sure to soak up every moment that they can watching these cars go by them. Now I see behind Ben McDonald, it's a 4-second gap between him and 6th place Christian Vargas. So at least for the 90, the 16, the 12, they can kind of do their own thing for a little bit and just at least ride together until this race ends. We'll have to, obviously check them out in reference to the 72 and the 9. But now Mashburn's just doing what he can to maintain the gap and also try and be mindful of how much fuel he uses, even though he likely may have to come down again.
And Grigsby's just, they're coming in. They're coming in now. All right, so they are leaving themselves enough time to try and charge through the field in the late stages. So Mashburn and Grigsby are coming in for their final stops now. That's going to give the lead to Cameron Brennan, but he's only going to barely have it over the likes of Henry Thomas, who's right on his tail. Mashburn's going to get the lap lead because he crossed the start-finish line on pit road. But look at this. This is going to be the battle for the lead when this all shakes out between Cameron Brennan for Sanders Performance Autosport and Henry Thomas for Venta Motorsport. These two, they each have one career win in the Superstar Series, but their stories could not be any more different. For Cameron Brennan, he's a rookie. His first win came just a few weeks ago at Talladega. For Henry Thomas, it's a lot longer than that. He's been here since the very start, and he has been so long without a victory. He's lost out on several in the past, very much like this, but he's on the tail of Cameron Brennan, and hopefully his teammate, Ben McDonald, will be able to provide support for him if he can get there.
Yeah, he may. Of course, McDonald, he's already got a couple unofficial wins this season. He was able to win the big money in the All-Star race and also win the beach shootout race in Daytona. And I'm sure the 12 and the 16, they'll trying to form some sort of game plan to get that 90 car ahead of them, but obviously McDonald will have a lot to catch up on. And now it's just these three in their own little area code. They are several seconds ahead of Vargas, like I said, and the leaderboard will reset with car 90 out in the lead. And there is Mashburn. He's ahead of Duke Antsack. And I believe Brian Grigsby, did I miss him? No, he's right there, running behind the 73 of Bouchard.
Also, Aaron Hall came to pit road on the same lap that Mashburn and Grigsby did, so he is going to have to do a lot to fight his way from the back to the front at the end of this one. But the gap at the line with 7 laps to go is just under 0.4 of a second. McDonald a further second and a quarter behind. So McDonald's going to need to push the go pedal if he's going to catch up to the likes of his teammate and the 90. But this is going to be a Herculean battle for this race win, and I am so here for it. This is what we came here to see, and I'm very excited to see how it plays out as Joshua Michaels makes a trip to pit road. This is a bit of a surprise. He was one of those guys that seemed to be fine on a one-stop strategy, but it looks like he has some kind of issue we have yet to really hear about. And yeah, he's staying on pit road for a little while. Tough break for Joshua Michaels, the teammate to Miles Mashburn. Of course, he's just had nothing go right, except for perhaps maybe a top 5 here or there, but nothing to suggest the caliber of driver we know he is.
It's unfortunate for that 6 car. Obviously, the 6 and the 72, they both hit pit road 1 lap apart from each other. There is Christian Vargas and Lane Sanders way back there, at least 5 seconds behind this lead trio. I also see Emma Kruger in the top 10. There's Ortiz, DeLello, Davidson, and Caggiano. A couple of the Aussie boys getting to round out the top 10, so that's great for them. And there goes the 6 of Michaels off the pits. Whoa, 3 wide now with Hunter and Ellison trying to get by the 5 of Caggiano.
Now, here's the thing about Michaels leaving the pits. He's going to come out right in the middle of that battle for the lead, and he is down on power compared to everyone else around him. So that is not good news for those battling for the lead. We'll get back to them in a moment, as we see Julio Cesar trying to fight his way into a decent enough position. He's 2 laps down already, remember. But yeah, look at that. Michaels out of that corner. He is so slow compared to the likes of these leaders. That's going to cost Ben McDonald big time. Look at him. He's stuck behind the 6 of Michaels. And as they make their way for the flat-out turn 8, try to make a move into the chicane of turn 9. He cannot. So this is going to probably eliminate Ben McDonald from any chance of winning this race, because Joshua Michaels is holding him up in a dramatic fashion. He's probably going to be able to get by in the next straightaway, but this is killing McDonald's race.
Oh, talk about poor timing for that number 12 car of McDonald. Now he's able to get by Joshua Michaels, and the apparent mechanical troubles that he's having, that's too bad for that 12. Now it's all going to be on Henry Thomas to reel in on Cameron Brennan. Here's Christian Vargas. He might signal to pit road here.
He couldn't make it on fuel, so he's committing to a 2-stopper here. And Devin Fair in the 21 doing the same. He was trying to fight so hard to get back to the top 10. Maybe pushed a little too hard, killed his tires. Austin Liang, we kind of expected to be on a 2-stopper. But 2 of our heavy hitters, Fair and Vargas, committing themselves to a 2-stop. But look at this here. Alex Sanfratal, we know he can make it to the end, as can Miles Mashburn. The difference between those two, 72 has much fresher tires. This is not going to be a very difficult pass.
So now the House of Cards is starting to tumble even more here at Dubai. There is that number 2 of Sanfratal, the first career starter, right here trying to go by Francois Chastain. And Miles Mashburn, of course, he came down along with Brian Grigsby around the same time. Mashburn, I think, is going to try and go 3 wide. Yes, he's going to charge down to the inside of the 25 and the 2. Get by those guys. And it looks like Zachary Fitzwater is going to be his next target in the 59, as well as Ryan Reed. And now, yep, I see Vargas. I see Echo Evans Ross, and also Devin Fair. They have made their stops. Same thing with Caesar in the 00.
Yeah, and this is very important for Miles Mashburn to do, to scythe past these guys as quickly as he can. He knows he's not going to win this race unless everybody else comes down pit road. So what he needs to do is slice his way through as much of the traffic as he can to give himself as good a finishing position as he can, just in case these guys are able to make it all the way. As Caesar now exits the pits, he's going to be a little ways ahead of the lead battle. And that's going to be interesting because, as we all know, Julio Cesar and Cameron Brennan are teammates. And that's going to be interesting if these guys catch him eventually. But I don't think they will, because Caesar's going to have much fresher tires. Doesn't have a pace disadvantage like Michaels did. I think they won't have to worry about him for the rest of the race. But look at this. Thomas is right there on Cameron Brennan. We'll see where he can make a move, if he can make a move in these final 3.5 laps.
Wow, I'm just bracing myself for what I'm expecting to see. I'm sure many of these fans are too, with how this is all going to play out. But on the leaderboard, you also see a couple new players in the top 10. 2 of the Stormbreak teammates of Hunter and Ellison. They've broken their way into the top 10, courtesy of Christian Vargas coming down pit road. And I believe Devin Fair may have contributed to that too. But I see the 16 of Thomas. He has a run. Here he comes.
Down through the flat-out turn 12, into the braking zone of 13. Henry Thomas is not going to be denied today. He comes around ahead of Cameron Brennan, and with 3 laps to go in this race, Henry Thomas takes the lead for the first time today. And this is as good a chance as any he's had in a very long time to finally get that second career win. The question is, can he hold off one of best on the road courses for 3 more laps?
How insane is this? And I didn't see anyone else duck their way to pit road now, so I'm sure all these guys that are still on the track, they're probably thinking we're going to get as high as of a finish as we can, or we're going to run out of fuel trying. So I'm sure that's the bet that they have made, and they are going to lay in it no matter what it takes. Then there's the 2 of Sanfratal getting past. Brian Grigsby has passed him. So at least out of the cars that have pitted, Grigsby is second highest. Mashburn right there is the highest running, followed by Sanfratal in third. But you see everyone else, they're just going to try and truck it along here for 2.5 more laps. Mashburn continuing to slice his way through the field. Here he goes to the inside of Cody Goforth. And up next ahead of him is the Karjala winner, Jeffrey Finguy.
And of course, Mashburn has already fought his way back up to the top 20 after exiting the pits in about 35th. He's gained about 15 places already in this run. But Henry Thomas, he's pulling a huge lead over Cameron Brennan. I think the 90, he either burnt out his stuff or he's saving it up for one more charge at the end. But regardless, Thomas with a really big lead. He's coming to 2 laps to go, and I think he's committing himself now to this one stopper.
Wow, and the amount of waiting that Henry Thomas has had to endure, I'm sure has been more than for anyone to comfortably bear. And he's only 2 laps away from potentially getting it done. He's just got to find a way to survive and also stay ahead of Cameron Brennan. But I also see Lane Sanders. He was trying to get by that lapped car, as well as Emma Kruger. And I see Ryan Caggiano. He's made his way up into the top 10 as well. Stephen Hunter must have fallen out of it. But now the roles have been reversed for Henry Thomas and Cameron Brennan. They're basically flip-flopped for positions. We'll have to see if Brennan can catch him or if Henry Thomas has this. I think I see the 92 of Fingai. He had damage. Did you?
He did have damage, and that's a bit of that explains why, because he was running in the top 20 about a lap ago, and now he is very much not. We'll have to take a look post proceedings to see what happened to that 92, because our cameras did not catch it. But look at this is what they are catching. Cameron Brennan has immediately clawed back the deficit. It was a second. Now it's only a couple car lengths. This is their last chance to come to pit road for the end of this race. Neither of them take it. They're going, though, for the long haul, as Henry Thomas is going to take the white flag in the lead of this race. And now he only has just a little over a lap to try and hold off Cameron Brennan to get his first win in so long.
Yep, just a couple more miles to go and victory can be his, but Cameron Brennan, he is eager to get that second career win just as much as he is. But now Ben McDonald, I wouldn't count him out either. He was able to take a couple tenths away. Could he possibly reel in the top 2 and give a little bit of assistance to his teammate out in the lead? We'll have to see if McDonald can be able to run it down, but I know that 90 car is still ever so determined to catch that 16.
Making our way now through the turn 6 and 7 hairpin for the final time. This has been Henry Thomas's dream to get back to victory lane. But for context, of course, the last time he was able to win a Superstar Series race, this series had a completely different name. Hardly any of the drivers in the field today were even still racing at that point. It was only our 5th race in series history to put matters into perspective, but Henry Thomas has coped with the pressure brilliantly, and he's only a few more corners from home. Brennan's going to give it his absolute best down this final straightaway towards the line. This is going to be such a big deal for Henry Thomas to make this happen. He's shaken off the challenge from Cameron Brennan, and now he's only got one more corner to go through the final hairpin for the final time. It has been 2,505 days since we last got to say this, but Henry Thomas is a winner again in the Superstar Series after nearly 7 years of heartache.
Incredible for Henry Thomas, and the way he was able to get by Cameron Brennan to seal the winning pass and keep him behind him for the last 2 laps, that was just so great for him, and they were able to hang on fuel as well, and that's another thing I give them a thumbs up about. But man, I'm breathing a sigh of relief like Henry Thomas is as well. He's got to be feeling so happy.
And you got to think this is going to be great redemption for 2022 at Montreal. He got passed by Devin Fair in the late stages of that race, got robbed of a win there. This one, I'm sure he'll be plenty happy with. But not from Ashburn and Grigsby. They were on the 2-stopper. They finished 14th and 18th, which given the circumstances was pretty good, but probably not enough to get them to win at the end. It looks as though Cody Goforth's the first one to run out of gas on the cooldown lap, and I would expect he's not going to be the only one.
Wow, that's shades of Karjala. Just guys stretching their fuel margins just enough where they get to the finish line. But, yeah, Cody Goforth just not able to quite do it. I think Cameron Brennan as well.
And Zayden Davidson. And, of course, our winner, Henry Thomas. I don't think he's going to care very much about this because, like I said, it has been nearly 7 years since he last won a Superstar race. And you can see all the drivers streaming around him. Some of them are able to make it back to the pits under their own power. A lot of them probably won't. But this is what we love about 1UP Superstar Racing. You just never know what the outcome could possibly be until that checkered flag flies. Because, like I said, putting it into perspective, It was his last win was our 5th ever series race at Pikes Peak International Raceway, and the series has come such a long way since then, and it has been such a long time for him as well. It's been 196 races since his last win. This is going to be one he's going to remember for such a long time.
Oh, for sure. And yeah, I'm sure that's got to be a new winless streak record too for somebody to go that long without winning, but they finally break through. There is that damage, number 92 of Jeffrey Finn guy. Again, we'll have to get a replay of what happened to him as Julio Cesar, look out, almost collided with Daniel Bouchard in the process. But again, for Henry Thomas, I'm sure he's going to go to the top of the Burj Khalifa and just shout out loud that he's a winner again in the Superstar Series.
It's going to be a truly magical day for Venta Motorsport. They get back-to-back wins this season. Eric DeMax got one at Silverstone last time out. I'm sure he's going to be watching this race from Road America, feeling pretty happy that his teammate got the job done at last. But this is just race 12 of a 30-race season. We still got 8 races to go until the chase kicks off, and Henry Thomas has put himself in a really good position for that. But we still got a lot of racing to go. 8 races remaining in the chase, as it looks as though Thomas is not going to make it back to the pits under his own steam. I don't think he's going to care very much, like I said. But next time out, we head back to the United States, back onto the ovals, and it's going to be a really good one at that. At Minnesota Motorsports Park, always one of the hotbeds of racing action anywhere you'll find in the Superstar Series. Lots of overtaking there. And as the field slowly comes to a crawl out on the racetrack, I think this is where we're going to say goodbye from Dubai. But with that said, from Jesse Turner, from myself as well, thanks for joining us for a truly incredible day of racing on the streets of Dubai. We'll see you again next time at Minnesota Motorsports Park for race number 13 of the season. But congratulations in the most dramatic, big order for Henry Thomas, who for the first time since 2020 is a 1-Up Superstar Series winner. He can scratch that winless streak straight into the bin.